you ever wanted to go on an African safari? Where do we start? We travelled to Port Macquarie on the mid-north coast of New South Wales in a hope of finding some answers.
Africa Encounters one of a number of Africa travel specialists in Australia. We predominantly tailor-make itineraries to Africa. People come to us with their dreams about Africa, what they've seen on documentaries, and we piece together something that will be a once-in-a-lifetime trip for them to Africa. I would recommend going to an Africa specialist, somebody you have confidence that knows the destinations you're interested in visiting. It's great to get that assistance early on so that you put a safari itinerary together that works for you. You might want to join a group traveling together. That's another option. But generally, most people travel on their own with an organized itinerary. Amboseli is a uniquely situated national park in Kenya. It has, in my view, the best views of Mount Kilimanjaro, which is a stunning vista. It's one of the landscapes in Africa, and to combine that, they have lovely herds of elephant there, so you get this combination that's it's going there just for that is sufficient. You will get close to some animals, obviously somewhat more dangerous, and your guide will not want to get too close, but they are, I hate to use the word habituated, but they're used to vehicles. It is very different if you step outside of the vehicle, obviously, but if you're in your vehicle, you can get quite close. There are many, many different tribes. They have a lot of very interesting customs, ceremonies, and that sort of thing. The Serengeti, most people have heard of because of the wildebeest migration that occurs there through the year. The Serengeti flows into the Masai Mara in Kenya. It is part of one ecosystem. It's very much made up of open grass plains fringed by outcrops of trees. And the next door neighbor to the Serengeti is the Ngorongoro crater, which is a unique element in itself, being a contained environment within a crater of a vast array of animals and wildlife in one location. In terms of tourists, it's a fantastic place to go to first. You need to go into the crater a couple of times and drive around for a number of hours. It sounds like it would only take you half an hour to get around, but you can spend 6 hours down there. It is large and there is a lot to see. Namibia is a very stark, dry country. The Namib, which makes up a larger portion of Namibia, is considered one of the oldest deserts in the world. We travelled, if you want to go to Namibia, one of the highlights is Sossusvlei, which has these enormous sand dunes which you can climb, and you get just panoramic vistas all around. Namibia also has a very well-known national park called Etosha. There's a great deal of diversity, but it's all much more arid comparative to other parts of Africa. One thing you need to consider when you go to deserts is how cool it gets come evening. And if you're going out on game drives and open vehicles, that added wind chill can make things very uncomfortable. So you're not really out of school if you take a beanie and a scarf and gloves and a nice thick jacket. Its spray goes up high into the air. It extends to over 1 kilometre long. It's more than 100 meters straight down. It is just an awesome sight. If you're an photography enthusiast, then you would want to invest in good lenses. You'd probably need at least a 300 or 400 millimeter lens. Whilst you might get close to the animals, good portrait shots of wildlife need that type of magnification. Otherwise, a bean bag is a great option, something to steady yourself with. Be sure to take extra batteries and whatever storage medium you may be using, your compact flash cards. You most likely can't buy them there, and if you could find them, they'd be very expensive. If you have dietary needs, it's best to advise your travel agent, but pretty much everything can be catered for. Just a little advance notice is always a good thing. One thing or two things you need to be aware of is there are luggage restrictions on weight. You will travel quite often in light aircraft, and they will have a weight restriction of 10 to 12 kilograms. You also need to be conscious of not taking hard cased bags. They like soft bags so that they can push them into small spaces. And those are the two main issues with your luggage. Just keep it light, keep it comfortable clothing. Don't overpack, don't take more than you need. For most safaris, you don't have to be fit. You will spend probably more time in game drive vehicles sitting. But you do need to be prepared to get up early in the morning, go through the day, and perhaps into the evening on night drives. But on certain types of safaris, perhaps a canoeing safari or a walking safari, or to visit the gorillas, you may have to trek for some time before you actually get to find the gorillas. And for those, yes. But you don't need to be fit like you might be for snowboarding or whatever.
That's good news. Thank you so much for your interview today, Fatu.
Thank you.